So my tongue split process. Initially, I did my research, knew I wanted to get the procedure done, and then started searching around for what artists were in the area, which ones traveled to my area, because most of them I felt like I saw a travel schedule for. So keep that in mind, that a lot of these dates are associated with when they'll be in a certain area, and you can schedule them when they are in your area. After I found the gentleman that did my tongue on Instagram, I contacted him, paid a deposit after I asked all the questions I needed to, and got the information I felt like I needed to be confident in my choice. I went ahead, paid the deposit, booked a date when he was going to be in my area to split, and from there we went ahead and did it. Like, I met him. It was a really quick in and out procedure. It was maybe 20 minutes. Great professional bedside manner. He actually cut my tongue before I realized he was cutting my tongue, which I think is a beautiful thing, to know how to manipulate the mind that way. So it was 2 cuts down the middle and then a third to remove the frenulum. That web that typically holds your tongue down is the frenulum. That's what also is removed in the process. And once he did those cuts, he sutured each side together, not together, he sutured each side individually to close the wound. And then from there, I went on my way. It really didn't hit me for a good hour, the swelling. That was probably the main thing I feel like I underestimated, was the swelling. So if you've ever had braces, that ache you get in your jaw, your face, that is going to happen. If you don't know that, let me familiarize you with it. Your jaw's going to ache because you're going to have so much pressure from that tongue being enlarged from the swelling, that it's also going to cause little cuts and wounds on your tongue from rubbing on it, and just, constant, like the way you feel when you're sick, that achy, just don't touch me feeling. It was a lot of that. I definitely stuck to a diet of ibuprofen and water for about 7 days. Not because I wasn't hungry and wanted to eat, but it was so swollen right here, especially, like, the back of my throat, trying to gulp and get anything down the back of my throat was rough. Swallowing my own spit, swallowing the water to take ibuprofen, that all was definitely rough. I feel like at about day 5, I really saw improvement. I took my stitches out. I had been communicating with the artist every single day, sending him photos, went back and forth with whatever information needed to be exchanged on the healing process. And then at day 5, when the sutures were removed, I felt like there was so much pressure off my tongue. That swelling went down so quickly. By day 7, I was able to really, like, start trying to eat again, and realize what a task that was going to be. Because when I started to eat, I realized my tongues wanted to almost claw together like that, leaving I don't do it anymore, but like leaving a hole in the middle, because I didn't really have the muscle memory to know how to hold them together, because they had always been physically held together. Now they're cut apart. So there was a lot of almost grabbing the food out from underneath my tongue and sticking it onto the back of my tongue. So no shame, you gotta do what you gotta do to eat and learn. So that was definitely something that was a process, was trying to delineate the left and the right side, and learning when to keep them together and when not to keep them together while you're eating or brushing your teeth or talking. And at about, I'd say, a month, I had enough muscle strength in my tongue to really alleviate that lisp I had developed from not knowing when to keep my tongues together. So the entire process, I would say at about a month, you're good. If you've done what you needed to do, my artist recommended being on a plant-based diet while this was happening to prevent excess bacteria. I'm already plant-based, so I just stuck to my norm, with exception to fasting, because I really didn't feel like it was necessary to go through the pain of trying to swallow until enough swelling had receded. And the process might be different for you. You may have other things to help alleviate any side effects you have, so good for you if you do. I did ibuprofen and water, so I'm only going to speak from that perspective. But I'd say if you have any questions, I'm open to giving you my perspective of how how it went for me. So, yeah. All in all, I definitely feel like I don't regret it. I fucking love it. I'd do it again. It was a fun journey. It's still a journey. I'm still learning, still growing into it, always having fun with it. And I definitely say that if you're considering it, do your research. You've got to do your research. You've got to be comfortable. You really have to know in your gut that that's for you and that's what you want to do. You know, this is your personal path. What may have worked for me and what my experience was may not be yours. You know, life's about perspective. So hopefully that helped you out a little bit with some insight to the process. I do have some gnarly photos on my old phone, so if you guys are interested, I can revisit this video and redo it at some point and insert all of the healing process photos, because those are a little rough. It looked fucking nasty. Like, as much as you brush that thing. So, you guys have a beautiful night. Wishing everyone love, happiness. Take care of yourselves. You deserve it. Have a good night, y'all.